So Epic Games is laying off like 1,000 people because Fortnite is underperforming. And this isn't going to be good news for Disney because lucky them, they're going all in on Fortnite.
Yep.
They're like 5-8 years too late to this party. But that is Disney. That is a very Disney thing to be too late to the party. But we'll talk about those layoffs, how it might impact Disney and all of that before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And this is the channel where all we do is complain about Disney, according to some people. You hate everything, Clownfish. That's right. We hate everything, and we hate you too. Except for the people who give us an upvote or like. Yes, we like you guys very much. No, there we go, guys. So this is, yeah, we'll talk about the layoffs first. They put a whole statement out there. They said that they're laying off 1,000 people. Let's see here. Pull this up on X. Epic says the company is laying off over 1,000 employees because Fortnite's not doing well. We're laying off over 1,000 Epic employees. I'm sorry, we're here again. Again, the downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means we're spending significantly more than we're making, and we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded. This layoff, together with over $500 million of identified cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing some open roles, put us in a more stable place. Some of the challenges we're facing are industry-wide challenges. Yeah, people are getting tired of these AAA titles, right? Slower growth, weaker spending, and tougher cost economics, current consoles selling less than last generations, and games competing for time against other increasingly engaging forms of entertainment, like tape decks.
But wait a minute. Didn't Disney give them like $1.5 billion?
Yes, they did. Make this make sense. Yeah,
we're getting all these other very, very lucrative brand deals with every like franchise ever.
Yeah, somebody actually pointed that out in the comments. Hype Drop says,
I'm very confused.
Yes, Hype Drop said they spent all their money on celebrity collaborations instead of paying their staff. This person says hiked V-Buck prices and cut over 1,000 jobs. Greed knows no bounds.
Mm-hmm.
This person says it's not just a layoff; it's a system reset. And yeah, basically they're having to temper their expectations because Fortnite isn't going to grow forever. At least they don't have the allegations of pedo problems like Roblox has right now. Yeah. But, you know, some of our challenges are unique to Epic. Despite Fortnite remaining one of the most successful games in the world, we've had challenges delivering consistent Fortnite magic with every season. We're only in the early stages of returning to mobile and optimizing Fortnite for the world's billions of smartphones. And in being the industry's vanguard, we have taken a lot of bullets in a battle, which is only in the early days of paying off for ourselves and all developers. That would be the Apple fight. They're fighting with Apple. Since it's a thing now, I should note that layoffs aren't related to AI. To the extent it improves productivity, which they said they have no problem with it there, right? We want to have as many awesome developers developing great content and tech as we can. At least they're not using that as an excuse. Like, yeah, we're going to fire everybody, and it's all because of AI. What we need to do now is build awesome Fortnite experiences with fresh seasonal content, gameplay, story, and live events. Accelerate developer tools with greater stability and capability as we evolve from Unreal Engine 5 to Unreal Engine 6. And we'll be kicking off the next generation of Epic with huge launch plans toward the end of the year. And people are like, yeah, bullshit. You know, what's going on here? What's going on? You blew all your money.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. You guys have all this shitty, all this money, all these tie-ins, all this, you're supposed to be so popular, but you have to cut like that many people.
Well, okay, so if you go out to Forbes, they said that it comes in the wake of Sweeney saying that losses may total more than $1 billion in the 4 years after Apple kicked them off the iOS app for purposefully violating its policies.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't have purposely violated its policies.
And then in February, they said they would pay Google as part of a new partnership deal. They settled without a court's knowledge after Epic's lawsuit against the tech giant. They said Sweeney has spoken in favor of AI usage. I did know that. But that's not why they're laying people off. That basically, I think the Fortnite train is pulling into the station. It's been around for like 10 plus years now. Every damn IP and then some has been shoved into this thing.
It was like the Disneyland Railroad Station.
Pretty much, right? And I'm going to be honest, it's not cool. Fortnite's not cool anymore. It was for a while. I don't even think they have, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't even think in the streaming space they have the Fortnite players like they had before. Like Ninja, you don't hear anything about him anymore.
He just quit. I don't know. I don't pay attention. So
I don't know, but like, it's just, this is not the hotness anymore. I think people are getting tired of these, live service games. They're getting tired of how gimmicky it is.
Parents are worried about their kids being on them, but beyond that,
yeah,
Disney and these different companies buy in, and it just becomes one giant advertising spot for these companies, and you're no longer cool.
Yeah, it's not cool.
You're not cool. Indie anymore. You're not cool.
And Fortnite was never really indie to begin with, but at least it had some cred, and then you can see kind of the, I guess you'd call it the enshittification or the commercialization of it.
I think the commercialization. But then, I think that's a double-edged sword because a lot of people are very, very excited to be able to get, character skins and all that stuff to play for things they love. So I think that on one hand is great. But I just think that, it just becomes, but it's constantly changing and it's just a new thing every week. And I don't know. And then the problems are having people and scammers and all this other stuff on these different games, and then the parental issues and all that. I just think there's people just get burnt out on it.
I think too, people are pushing toward owning their games. I don't think they want these live service games.
That's true. We've talked about that. That's true.
I mean, you dump thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, or thousands of dollars into a live service game that could disappear tomorrow. And it takes all your money.
Popular, and it's still really popular.
It's popular.
I'm not saying it's not, because that would be a lie. It's still incredibly popular. But I just think it's weird that they're trying to save all this money when you keep getting money in these deals. Where are you misusing the money?
Well, they had to pay out because they had lawsuits for a parents group or something like that. They got sued for.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the parents' issues. I brought that up earlier, but I'm just like, you shouldn't be hemorrhaging money like you are. And a lot of the expense, I guess there's a lot of expense every time you do a new tie-in. You have to program all that crap and stuff. So I'm sure there's big expense there, but then maybe not do as many. But a lot of the game overall, it's been done for years. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So this is coming from Disney Tourist Blog. We're going to go out and see how this affects Disney because, again, they're going all in on Epic. They're like, we got this huge deal with them. We're going to build Disney worlds. And even Josh D'Amaro was talking about this. And by the time they get around to launching all this shit, this game is going to implode.
We said that, back when they announced it, we're like, yeah, and by the time you get to it, because they were talking about a timeline, it's like no one's going to care anymore. And that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, so they're talking about Tim Sweeney's statements on it. They said that this layoff, together with over $500 million of identified cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing open roles, is a means to that goal to save $500 million. It comes amidst industry-wide challenges.
Get rid of for AI.
Yeah, right. The move marks Epic's second major round of layoffs in 3 years. In September of 2023, the company cut 830 jobs, or 16% of its workforce. It's not clear what percentage of staff will be impacted by these layoffs. The video game industry has faced growing pressure as it competes with not just other video game companies, but everything from TikTok to Netflix to other assorted brain rot.
Okay, but here's the thing. That stuff's been out there for a while. Netflix and TikTok and that brain rot's been out the whole time this has been out. Even 2 or 3 years ago, when you're getting deals with Disney and all that stuff, that stuff was still your competition then. That's an excuse.
I think people are getting tired of the video game industry gouging, and they're getting tired of not owning their games. Now, this is interesting. I actually missed this. Okay, so it said in September, Electronic Arts laid off hundreds of workers and canceled a game that was in development. Ubisoft, we knew about that, has undertaken rounds of layoffs and restructuring amid faltering sales. Amazon's broader job cuts last year affected the gaming division. Just today, so I missed this, Bloomberg reported a rumor that Nintendo was planning to cut production of the Switch 2 by 30%. From 6 million to 4 million units after slower than expected holiday sales.
Wow.
The Switch 2...
There's still not a whole lot of games for it, are there?
No, the Switch 2 is a dud. So far, Pokopia, I think, is the only thing that's really taken off.
Because most of their games aren't for it. I know our son's glued to that. He's playing it right now. But... and then when you wanted to play your old games, you had to pay up charges to use
upscale them.
And a lot of people were like, "This is stupid."
So I think, honestly, the Switch, it's so weird. Everybody was like, and I might actually do a separate video on that one. But I've been saying since the beginning that the Switch 2 is massively overrated. It was rushed out. And we have one, and until Pocopia came out, we didn't play it.
Well, you still aren't playing it, or her son.
I don't play. I play the Switch one, but you know the games I want to play are old man games, so they run fine on the Switch one. But yeah, it said live service games like Fortnite face a unique challenge in needing to feed the beast via a steady stream of new content to keep players engaged. This announcement comes just a week after the launch of the new season of Fortnite. Separately, Epic Games has announced that rocket racing will be permanently removed from the game. Oh, wow. That was that was a big deal. Epic Games announced that rocket racing will be removed from the game later this year after having been previously put on hold. 2 other modes will disappear next month: Festival Battle Stage and Fortnite Ballistic. Rocket League was a big deal.
I don't really pay attention, to be honest with you.
Well, we talked about this. We had the esports whatever. And
yeah,
the
you
kids were all
guys,
playing
that was you guys' thing. I was rarely there. So, I mean, you guys would know what people were into, what they're playing all the time. I know people played Fortnite all the time there, though. I do know that.
So this is, they're bringing it up in terms of, you know, what does this mean to Disney? Because Disney was going all in. Disney really freaking thought Fortnite was it, man. They thought that, like, we're gonna market our, how do you do, fellow kids? We're gonna go all in on Fortnite, and that's gonna solve everything. This is gonna be the missing piece. You know, the kids are migrating off of cable and whatever, and they're gonna go Fortnite. And shit, man, it doesn't look like it's gonna work out very well for them, does it?
Mm-mm.
Wow. Yeah, they said they're collaborating on all new games and entertainment universes that will further expand the reach of Disney. By the time they get around to launching this stuff, I mean, I know they have characters and stuff, but by the time they get around to launching all of it, I think it's going to be too late. I think it's
interesting though, because, you know, I think it's still really popular, but it does two things be true at once. It could be really popular, but there could be a lot of things that aren't sustainable. And I think a big part of it, though, to be fair, a lot of these jobs are going to be AI cut related. And I think that's to boost their stock and to boost their position. So I think a lot of it's probably going to be AI. But I just think it's funny they're trying to plead poverty when they're getting money from all this other stuff.
It's interesting. They've got commentary on it, and they're like, why didn't Disney focus on building their own game studio? And they actually had...
They had game studios.
They had game studios, and they shut them down.
They shut down... Okay, we've talked about this at length. The Disney Infinity.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about that it was popular.
Yeah.
And they still shut it down. Like it was profitable.
It wasn't profitable
But it wasn't profitable enough. And they shut it down, even though people loved it.
And
so Disney has stuff that works. And if it's not what they wanted or not making enough money, well, then if you weren't making enough money, bye.
Well, this is because they had so much damn money that they're like, yeah, you need to make billions and billions of dollars. Kind of reminds me of the one company I worked for. They had a lot of mom and pop clients. And they cut them loose because they wanted to chase the big corporate accounts. And then when the big corporate accounts weren't, you know, spending like they were before, they tried to go back to the mom and pops. They got so big, Disney got so big that they're like, it's not even worth our time. It's not worth our time to even have a game studio anymore. So let's fire all these guys. They could have done everything in-house. And they didn't want to do that. They wanted to just, you know, outsource it all.
Remember a few years ago, they were like inviting people to come with all the IP they had to give them to pitch them games and stuff. And even when they bought Fox, they had game studios and they sold those too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I guess it's easier just to say, here's an investment. You do it. You make it all go. So we don't have to hire people to do it. You have to hire the people to make it go. Here's what we want. You do it.
Yep. Okay. So this is, I agree 100%. I think this is Tom Bricker from the Disney Tourist blog. My concern at this point is that Fortnite's time in the spotlight is coming to an end. This is no reaction I'm suddenly having in response to the layoffs. It's been a concern for a while.
Yeah, it was the first thing we said when we heard about it. We're like, that was dumb by the time you get around to it.
It's been a concern I've had for a while, as live service games strike me as more of a fad and something that cannot be sustained indefinitely as its core audience ages out of the product or the new hot thing comes along.
Yes.
And again, why would you go all in on Fortnite when the game is 10 damn years old?
And we've already talked about this at length on here. Is everybody, like a lot of this new audience, they have, they're getting older. They're trying to go back to the retro stuff. They're out there buying the retro consoles. They're out there buying Walkmans. They're out there buying all this physical media things, like you mentioned earlier. And it's like you're you're going to lose to the next big thing. You're going to lose people wanting to go back to the old things, people aging out, not having time to play because they go get jobs.
Yeah.
You're 10 years old, 12 years old when you're playing it, and now you're like 20, 22 and you have to get a job. You don't have time to play all the time.
It's interesting though. He said, they had an opportunity to team up with Nintendo and they didn't do it. And they said that would have made a lot more sense long term than chasing Fortnite, which is like
now Universal has it, and then
Universal has
going to destroy them. Pokemon, which is partly owned by Nintendo, I believe, and Mario and stuff are like huge, and yeah, Mickey's in there too, and some of the Disney-owned properties are up there too. But like, yeah, you just handed your competitor a knife and said, "Here's my back."
Yeah, and they said this is after they dropped the ball with Harry Potter.
They had. We talked about it before.
I don't know how many people know, but Disney was supposed to create Wizarding World, and their vision for it was very different than J.K. Rowling's vision, and she killed the deal. She said, "No, you want to do it the Disney way. I want it to look a certain way because
if only someone did that with Star Wars."
Yeah, right. And seeing what they did with the Galaxy's Edge, when it was right there, all you had to do was give people the movies that they recognized and do it to the best of your ability. It was right fucking there, and you couldn't do it. You didn't do it. You knew better. And it's the same. It's gonna be the same with Fortnite. By the time they get around to rolling this thing out, it's gonna be like nobody's gonna care. Mm-hmm. See also Club Penguin, right? They bought that and they ruined it.
Oh, if they brought that back, people would be thrilled, but they don't.
I think they tried to, but it was yeah.
I mean, they would bring some of these things back as nostalgia things. I think they would work, but they don't usually do it right. So I don't know. As Disney, they're going to do whatever is cheap and for modern audiences. None of this surprises me that people are thinking it's a bad idea. Epic Games, like I said, we said this before. As soon as they announced it, we were like, well, till you get around to it, it's not going to be worth it, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised Fortnite has lasted as long as it has, given that there's so much.
Credit to them on that. Yeah. Roblox too.
Well, good luck with that.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Actually, that would have been brand synergy right there. It's like, hey, so we've heard you had a lot of pedos in your parks. Why don't you guys go in with? Then we can get the Florida sheriff or whatever the guy is, as he was always announcing, like, oh, we caught all.
Sheriff Grady.
Yeah, yeah. So we just caught like 10 more pedos on Roblox going to the Disney parks and trying to
here's their pictures.
Yeah.
It's posted. Yeah.
Oh my god. All right, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.